Today we're gonna take this oversized men's dress shirt and we are going to transform it into something super cute you can wear out tonight. And the best thing about this transformation is that there's no cutting involved. All you need is some ribbon and a sewing machine. And this technique you're going to learn, you can apply to all different types of garments to transform them. To get that super cute look on the shirt, what we're going to do is create some casings on the front and the back of the shirt for the ribbon to go into. To create the casings, you can use some white ribbon or you can use some bias tape. I have some bias tape handy, so I'm going to be using this. So where are you going to place your casing? Well, you can place them really wherever you like, but I'm going to suggest that you're going to place them in the center of the panel on the front. But when we apply them, we're going to be applying them to the wrong side of the garment. So right now I'm going to turn my shirt inside out. And to make this work, we're going to put 2 casings on both sides. So both sides of the fronts are going to get 2 casings. And this technique is going to work exactly the same for both sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a line on the inside of the shirt here about 2 inches away from that placket. So that way I have something to follow when I'm attaching the casing. And I'm going to start a few inches away from the neck. And I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the shirt. Now I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches in between these, and I'm going to draw another line. So now I have 2 lines on the inside of my shirt, and this is right where my casings are going to go. So these measurements here can totally be different and it's still going to work for you. I just want you to put it somewhere roughly in the middle of the panel of the shirt. Now that we have the lines drawn in the middle of the shirt, we need to cut our casing to length. So I'm going to take my bias binding, I'm going to make it a little longer than my line so I have some extra to work with, and go ahead and cut it. Okay. So now what we want to do is place these casings right over that line, or you could choose to place it to the right or the left of it if that helps you as well. Either way is going to work. I'm just going to place it right over the center of that line there and pin it down. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. I'm just going to place the casing right over my chalk line, and I'm just going to put some pins in here to help keep it straight while I'm sewing. Make sure everything's laying nice and flat. If you are using bias tape, make sure you're not stretching it out because it does have that little bit of give to it. Now we're all pinned up. Now we need to turn under the ends so that way they have a nice finish so they don't fray when we're washing or wearing. So I want my casing to end at my blue line, and I want to leave a little extra. I have quite a bit extra here though, so I'm going to cut some off. And now what I'm going to do is fold the casing back. So I'm folding it under so I have a nice clean edge here. And now I'm going to give it another pin. And you can really see how nice and clean of a finish we're going to have there at the top. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom of the casings. There we go. Now the ends are all folded in and we're ready to sew. And I want to point out that when you're folding the ends under for the bottom of the shirt, I want you to stop right before the hem. So come really close to the hem when you're folding the casing under. So we're sewing these, we want to add little edge stitches all the way down the length of it. So an edge stitch is a stitch really close to the edge. So we want to do 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows of edge stitches attaching the binding to the shirt, which means we're going to add 1 row on each side of the casing. And when we're doing this, we need to make sure we leave the top of the casing open and the bottom of the casing open as well. Real quick, before we start sewing, if you're enjoying Sewing Anastasia, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to learn more about sewing, make sure you check out my online and in-person classes, and we even have an online sewing club. There's links down below for everything. Now let's get back to creating this shirt. So I'm going to be adding that edge stitch, making sure I leave the top open. So all the way to the bottom of the casing, add some back stitches, and now we're going to sew the other side of the casing. So I'm going to start at the top again, so I'm just going to pull this down. Sew to the bottom, add your back stitches. Now let's move on to the next casing. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. And now we're done with both of those casings. So you can see how nice and secure and flat our casings are all the way up to the top. Now what I want you to do is the exact same thing to the other half of the front. Now I have both sides of the front with the casing attached. Now we're going to move on and attach some casing to the back of the shirt. To add the casing to the back, the first thing I did was find center back. So I folded it in half and ironed it. So you can see that crease right there. Now I'm going to add the same measurements to it. So I'm going to measure out 2 inches from center back. Remember on the front, I measured 2 inches out from that placket. So I'm measuring 2 inches out from center back all the way down the shirt. And now I'm going to measure over 1.5 inches. And this will be for just half of the shirt. So I would also replicate these lines on the other side here. And then I'm going to cut my casing just a little longer than the line I drew. And then we'll go ahead and pin down that casing. Now that we're all pinned up, it's time to sew these down. We're going to be edge stitching right on the side of the casings, just like we did on the front. Once you have both of them in on this side, we are going to do the exact same thing here to the other side. And then the cinching begins. You're really going to see this transform. Now we have all of our casings added to the shirt. It's time to get our ribbons in there. Now I'm going to show you how to add the ribbon to a set of casings, and then you're going to do the same thing to the other sets. So when you're cutting your ribbon, you want to make it longer than you need. So measure one side of the casing, measure the other side of the casing, give yourself some extra, and then cut. Now the easiest way to get this ribbon in the casing is with a safety pin. So I'm going to use a safety pin that fits into my casing, and I'm going to attach it on the end of the ribbon and close it. And now what we're going to do is push the safety pin up the casing. We're going to come over to the other side of the casing and come back down. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to push that safety pin in there, and I'm using the safety pin because I just need something to help push that ribbon through. You could use a bobby pin, you could use a bodkin. There's all different kinds of things you could use, but I'm just using a safety pin. And I'm just working the safety pin through the casing. So you can see my ribbon is starting to go in the casing. And now my pin is popping out of the top of the casing. Now what we're going to do is take the pin and we're going to put it into the other casing right next to it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to push the pin all the way through the casing now. Now we're at the bottom of the casing and we're just going to pull a little bit. So we got some ribbon there. And now we can remove our safety pin. So now we have our ribbon coming up, coming over to the other one and right back down. Now we're going to do the same thing to our other sets of casings. Now that the ribbons are in, let's check it out before we cinch it up. So I have my set of ribbons in the front, 2 sets in the back, and then my other set on the front. Right now, it just looks like we have a plain old boring button-up shirt. We're going to transform it with our ribbon casings. So let's cinch it up. So the key to really transforming this and changing the style is really cinching it up and choosing your own little design with this. So you can cinch it up a bunch, you can cinch it up to just under the bust, you can go over the bust. It's really up to you. So I'm going to keep cinching this all the way up. Look, we could even just cinch one side and look how much that's transforming the shape of the shirt. But it's looking a little funky, so we are not going to just do one side. So once you have one side where you want it, you can always tie it in a bow. And now I'm gonna move over to the other side. Now I'm gonna turn it around to the back. So you can see what that's creating, these funky shapes here. So we're going to cinch it up. The key to really making this look good is evenly distributing it, kind of pulling it from both sides, flattening it out, getting it where you want it. Look at how cool that is. So I'm gonna keep adjusting everything till I get it exactly where I want it for my final transformation. So I have it adjusted where I want it. I just love how avant-garde this looks. We've got all of these gathers. We've got the ruffles and the gathers in the front. Now I like doing it so we only button up a few of them, and then the bottom here, it kind of fans out to the side. You could also continue buttoning up all the way down to the bottom, but I think it looks really cool opening up like that. And then in the back, we get the really cool gathers with that ruching there. And then in the sides too, it creates like these really cool like billows in the side of the shirt. I think it looks cute if you take the sleeves too and just like cuff them, roll them up. And now we have a whole new style of shirt. And we didn't have to cut into it at all. We added casing and ribbons. And now I'm gonna try it on, and you're really gonna see this transformation from before to after and how cool our new style is. And here it is on. Look at how fun this shirt is with it all gathered up. It kind of fans out, which I really love. And then you gotta check out the back too. Look at how cool all those gathers look in the back. And I love all these little ties and ribbons at the bottom. It's just so whimsical. And when I tried this on, it was just giving me Comme des Garçons vibes, don't you agree? And remember what it looked like before? Isn't this such a cool, stylish way to upcycle a giant oversized shirt? Such a transformation. One of the things I really love about this shirt is that you can adjust it. You can scrunch it up real high, you can lengthen it, you can button it fully up, you can leave it open. It's really transformative even though it's finished. You can still adjust it. It's such a cool piece to add to your wardrobe. And this project was totally beginner friendly. So if you're new to sewing, you can still create things that are avant-garde and super cool. Sewing is magic. Thank you so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when the new tutorials come out. And if you're already a subscriber, well, thank you so much for watching today. These videos are for you guys. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see coming up this year. And if you'd like to know more about sewing, make sure you check out my online and in-person classes and the online sewing club. There's links down below for everything. And if you want to know what's going on in the studio today, well, make sure you check out my Instagram stories. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!